Greetings and welcome back to your daily dose of joy. We're here to delve deep into the fascinating world of psychology and human behavior. Today we're exploring a darker side of the psyche that often goes unnoticed: dark psychology. This intriguing and somewhat mysterious topic holds a mirror to our vulnerabilities and reveals how they can be exploited. So, let's dive right in, and remember, if you find this content helpful, do give it a thumbs up. Today we delve into the intriguing world of dark psychology. Just as the name suggests, dark psychology is a shadowy side of human behavior. It's a fascinating yet unsettling realm that explores the manipulation, deceit, and control techniques that some individuals employ to influence others, often without their awareness. Imagine a puppeteer holding the strings of marionettes, directing their every move. In the world of dark psychology, the puppeteer is the manipulator, and the marionettes? Well, they could be any one of us, unknowingly dancing to someone else's tune. Dark psychology is not a standalone field of study per se, but rather an umbrella term encompassing various psychological tactics like manipulation, persuasion, deception, and coercion. These tactics are often used to control and influence others, exploiting their vulnerabilities and bending their will. Now you might be wondering, why dark? Well, the term dark here does not necessarily signify evil, but it does represent the covert and often unethical application of these psychological techniques. It's about using someone's emotions, fears, or desires against them, all while they remain blissfully unaware of what's truly happening. This is where it gets even more interesting. Dark psychology isn't exclusive to villains in a spy thriller. It's not the sole domain of con artists or dictators. It's woven into the very fabric of our daily interactions. It could be a persuasive salesperson, a charismatic politician, or even a seemingly harmless friend or relative. However, it's crucial to remember that not all persuasion or influence is harmful or malicious. It's the intent and the methods that make the difference. When used ethically, these techniques can help build relationships, inspire positive change, or motivate people. But in the wrong hands, they become tools of manipulation, control, and deceit. Sounds ominous, doesn't it? But remember, knowledge is power. The more we understand about dark psychology, the better equipped we are to recognize and respond to it. So let's continue this journey into the shadowy corners of the human mind. Dark psychology employs a variety of tactics, some of which might surprise you. It's a stark reality that we must face, not to make us paranoid, but to make us aware and prepared. It's about understanding the tools of manipulation so that we can better recognize them when they're used against us. One such tactic is gaslighting. This is a psychological manipulation technique that makes a person question their own reality. Imagine someone consistently denying your experiences, twisting your memories, and making you doubt your own perceptions. It's a subtle yet powerful way to gain control over someone's mind. Next, we have guilt tripping. This tactic involves making someone feel guilty to influence their behavior. By playing on someone's sense of duty or obligation, the manipulator can make them act in a certain way, or accept something they normally wouldn't. It's an emotional manipulation that's often disguised as concern or care. Then there's the silent treatment, a tactic that is as simple as it is damaging. By withholding communication, the manipulator creates a power dynamic where the victim feels compelled to please or appease them just to break the silence. It's a form of emotional blackmail that can make the victim feel anxious, insignificant, and desperate for resolution. Another tactic is playing the victim. Here, the manipulator portrays themselves as the victim, often exaggerating or fabricating hardships to gain sympathy and control. This tactic is particularly effective because it plays on our natural tendency to empathize and help those in distress. Finally, we have projection. This is when the manipulator accuses others of the behaviors or feelings that they themselves are guilty of. It's a deflection tactic that shifts the focus and blame away from them, causing confusion and distraction. These tactics are unfortunately more common than we'd like to think. They are insidious and often hidden under the guise of normal interactions. But now that you know what to look for, you are better equipped to recognize and resist them. Knowledge, after all, is power. But why do people fall for these tactics? Let's discuss. It's a question that's been puzzling psychologists for years. Why would anyone willingly walk into a trap, let their guard down, and allow themselves to be manipulated? The answer isn't simple, but it boils down to a few key factors: vulnerability, lack of awareness, and emotional investment. Firstly, vulnerability. We all have weak spots, areas where we're less confident, less sure of ourselves. These vulnerabilities can be exploited by those well-versed in dark psychology. They can sense our insecurities, our fears, our desires, and use them against us. This isn't to say that being vulnerable is inherently bad. It's human, and it's natural. But in the wrong hands, it can be used as a weapon. Secondly, there's a lack of awareness. Many people aren't aware of dark psychological tactics. They don't know how to spot them, and they don't know how to protect themselves against them. This lack of awareness can make them easy targets. It's like walking through a minefield without a map. You don't know where the dangers are, and by the time you realize it, it might be too late. Lastly, emotional investment. When we're emotionally invested in someone or something, we're more likely to overlook red flags. We're more likely to make excuses to justify behavior that we might otherwise find unacceptable. This emotional investment can blind us to the reality of a situation, making us more susceptible to manipulation. So, why do people fall for dark psychological tactics? It's a combination of vulnerability, lack of awareness, and emotional investment. But the good news is, knowledge is power. By understanding these tactics and the reasons why we might fall for them, we can take steps to protect ourselves. Awareness is the first step towards protection. Let's look at an example that demonstrates the power of dark psychology. Picture this. A charismatic leader has a group of loyal followers. This leader has the ability to charm and captivate, a trait often seen in those who wield dark psychology. He uses this charm to gain trust and then subtly manipulates his followers to act according to his will. He employs tactics such as gaslighting, making his followers question their own perceptions and beliefs. He isolates them from their loved ones, creating a dependence on him and his teachings. He uses fear and guilt as tools, making his followers believe that leaving the group or questioning his authority would lead to dire consequences. Now you might think, I would never fall for that. But remember, these tactics are not overt. They're subtle, insidious, and often wrapped in layers of kindness and concern. They exploit vulnerabilities, and we all have those. This leader doesn't just affect his followers' actions, he shapes their thoughts, emotions, and identities. His followers start to see the world through his lens, their self-worth tied to his approval. They find themselves trapped, not by physical chains, but psychological ones. When they finally break free, the effects linger. They struggle with trust, self-esteem, and personal relationships. They grapple with guilt and fear. The recovery is long and arduous, and they may need professional help to overcome the trauma. This, dear listener, is a glimpse into the impact of dark psychology. A single person, armed with knowledge of these tactics, can cause so much harm. Imagine then the potential damage when these tactics are used on a larger scale, in politics, advertising, or social media. As you can see, the effects can be quite profound. This is why we need to be aware of dark psychology, to protect ourselves and those around us from such manipulation. We've covered a lot today, so let's quickly summarize. Dark psychology, a term that evokes intrigue, is a complex field of study that explores the darker side of human nature. Its tactics, often subtle, can manipulate individuals without their awareness. It exploits vulnerabilities, preys on lack of awareness, and can have a significant impact on a person's life. We delved into why people might fall for these tactics, highlighting how factors such as personal vulnerability and lack of awareness play a pivotal role. We underscored the need to recognize such tactics and the importance of fostering a strong sense of self-awareness to counteract the potential effects of dark psychology. The power of dark psychology is not to be underestimated. As we demonstrated with our case study, it can profoundly influence individuals, affecting their thoughts, behaviors, and overall well-being. But remember, knowledge is power. By understanding the mechanisms of dark psychology, we can better protect ourselves and those around us. Now we'd love to hear your thoughts. Are you more aware of dark psychology now? Can you identify its tactics in your daily life? And most importantly, how will you use this newfound understanding to foster positivity and resilience? We encourage you to share your thoughts on dark psychology in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos on psychology and human behavior. Until next time, keep spreading joy.